talk to Gage.
And hello everyone, welcome back to another video. I decided today I just want to sit down and kind of talk about some new movie pickups, some new movies that I've picked up recently that me and or my wife have gotten. And I just want to kind of talk about it. I just want to talk about some stuff. Now, some of these I've admittedly had for a while, like longer than some of the other ones I'm talking about, but you know, I just kind of wanted to talk about some movies. And so most of these are, you know, relatively new to the collection or just really cool, and I just had to tell you guys about it because I haven't made a video like this in a while, and I kind of want to make a video like this. So with all that being said, if y'all enjoy the video, be sure to hit the like button and do all the YouTube thingies and subscribe. But without further ado, let's just start on the stack. So first up, we have Klowns from Outer Space, the 4K. I recently have sort of fallen out of love with 4K as a format. And it's not to say I don't still buy it, clearly, and it's not to say that it still doesn't have its merits. I've just found that Blu-rays tend to be more consistent. You know, if you don't have like a really good TV, a really good, you know, 4K player, then it's a little more inconsistent if you watch the 4K disc. But this was an example where I had to get it, bro. Like, look at that cover. If y'all have ever seen the ugly Blu-ray cover, you'll understand why this was a necessity, because that thing is hideous. I've never seen a case that more poorly represents the movie than the Klowns Blu-ray. That thing looks terrible. It looks like an early 2000s Sci-Fi Channel movie. Like, that's how bad it is. This cover is peak. It's one of my favorite movie posters and covers of all time, and I just think it's a really nifty box. Nifty box. Yeah, there's that. I got into the Friday 13th movies. This was, well, it was supposed to be a gift. It was supposed to be a gift for my wife, because I was one day like, hey, if we got all the Friday 13th movies, like, would you watch all of them with me? And so as a gift, I was like, hey, let's, you know, I got her this so we could watch them together. And she just lost interest. She just wasn't very interested in doing it at that point. And so she was around when you know, I watched a lot of them, but she's seen them before. But anyways, what do I think? Maybe we should do a ranking or something. I don't know. Maybe you'll have to tell me if that's something y'all are interested in, because I've seen all of these. Unfortunately, this is an 8-pack, but there's actually like 10 of these, right? Yeah, because up to Jason X, and then technically you have Freddy vs. Jason, and then you have the 2009 remake. Look, I would have been fine if they just included 1 through 10 to Jason X. That would have been fine, because the remake's kind of its own thing. Freddy vs. Jason, that's kind of its own thing. I'm not really faulting you on that. But it's just weird this is missing those movies, which is why I picked up this goofy DVD. Yes, that's right, buying DVDs in the year 2025, crazy. Yeah, this is another thing. I've been more open and okay with buying DVDs, because that's the thing. Like, people say like, oh, DVDs, they mean like discs, but like, I'm talking about like Blu-rays. I'm talking about DVD, the format. And as a DVD, this is something I don't really mind doing on occasion. I have some DVDs in the collection, but you know, 'cause that's the thing, is like, Blu-ray is better pretty much every time. But if there's a movie that, you know, like some movies never even got a Blu-ray. Some movies only have DVDs. And, you know, what am I gonna do? Just like not buy them? You know, even I want to own the movie. It's like Waking Life. I don't know. I actually don't know if y'all saw that in the last collection video. I don't know if I had it in the last collection video, but I do have Waking Life on DVD. That's over on the shelf. Yeah, like, I want to own that. What am I gonna do? Just like not buy it? Of course I'm gonna buy it. And that's how it was with this, where it's kind of the only way to have 9 and 10. And I kind of wanted to own those. I wanted to have the whole set. And so I bought the goofy DVD. So now on the shelf, they look really stupid. They do look dumb together, but yeah. All the Friday 13th movies. Including this little goofy trilogy pack. So originally I bought Freddy vs. Jason just by itself, like just the Blu-ray on its own. I regretted that deeply because this was right next to it for like $1 less on Amazon, and it includes 2 more movies. So I don't know why I did that. I literally don't know why I did it. I think at the time I was just like looking at it. Maybe I'm pretty sure I saw it. I think I was just not interested in the other 2 or something. Like I was like, oh, Elm Street, I already own that. I thought it was the first one, but it's actually the remake. But see, that's why I got this, is because I, wanted to watch 2009 remake, complete the set. It was a way for me to, sell my copy of Freddy vs. Jason, and then right here, get the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street. So I was like, well, let's just sell the one and then get this one. So that's what I ended up doing. So yeah, now I got everything all in one beautiful, beautiful little place in that goofy little trilogy pack. This one's a sealed movie. It's a sealed DVD, but it's light sleeper. Yeah, it's a movie I really do want to watch. It's a Paul Schrader movie. And if y'all know anything about me, you'll know that I am a huge Paul Schrader fan. He's got to be one of my favorite directors. Now, recently, it's been kind of a contentious thing with me, like figuring out who is the top 3, who are my favorite directors. Maybe we'll do a video about that in the future too, but Paul Schrader's up there. He's definitely up there. Maybe not number 1, probably not number 1, but he is definitely pretty high. And this movie only had a DVD, so I wanted to own it, and DVD is the only way to go. Haven't opened it yet because I haven't watched it. Let me real quick make sure I'm still plugged in real good. Good. All right, just checking. Oh, frick. Just sent my whole horror collection flying right there. Yeah, why don't we talk about this next? It wasn't even up next technically, but it decided to just fall out. All right, so what happened was originally, all right, so here's the horror collection. Still something in there. Another disc. Here's a horror collection. It was 50 movies. I got it for like 15, 16 bucks. I used my tournament money when I won that Smash tournament a while back. I used that money to buy this because a lot of times, me and my family, go downstairs and we want to like watch something, but we just have no idea what to watch. Well, we had 2 volumes of like those sci-fi movies. It has like maybe like 6 or 7 movies on them each, and we would just pop one of those in. If we didn't know what to watch, we were like, all right, let's just watch one of the sci-fi collection movies. And that was why I got this. I was like, well, 50, I mean, that's gonna hold us over for a while. And I think we've watched 1 movie on here as a family. I've watched a couple others here and there, like The Beast of Yucca Flats. Didn't think that was particularly good. And I didn't think House on Haunted Hill was very good either. That was the one that we watched as a family. But if I can turn your attention to these are the discs. They're double-sided, and this is not how they originally came. They originally came in these weird proprietary packing slip things that were open-faced, which is so dumb. Like, I just think that's the dumbest idea. Why would you make a double-sided disc and then put them in an open-faced thing where they can slide and scratch each other? So they started scratching each other, and I don't sit here like freaking. But for some reason they get scratched. They get scratched really badly, and I was like, well, screw that. So I bought disc sleeves and contained them a little bit better. That's why I have all these, and so now I keep them in that. Maybe it's insane. Maybe people are like, bro, like you're messing with the value now because you're like throwing out the other things. But nah, dude, like it's literally gonna destroy the discs if I didn't do something about it. So yeah, I did that. But yeah, some good movies on here. I mean, for me, it was largely worth it. There's 50 movies, but Nosferatu's on here, and Metropolis. I do want to watch Metropolis very soon. I gotta get around to that. I really do. But yeah, 50 horror collection. Not bad if you like some old movies. All right, so this is a big one. This is one that I legitimately changed me, and I thought was so incredible. And my brothers have been making fun of me for it ever since I watched this. But that is the Jesus Camp documentary. Now, based on the name, what you're seeing right now, you're thinking to yourself, Gage, what the frick is that?
What the frick is that?
It's good. Just trust me. It is incredible. It is spooky. It's basically a horror movie, but it's also a documentary. And it's about a documentary about these this summer camp where these kids would go to, and then just the level of manipulation and just absolute terror that comes from that, what these adults are doing to these kids. It was incredible. And I highly, highly recommend checking this thing out if that sounds at all up your alley. You know, if you like First Reformed, that's my favorite movie. I know, like, I've talked about that on the channel before. If y'all like that, check this thing out. It's really good. Another movie I had to own. Please, if any of y'all use Letterboxd, by the way, you should totally look me up, because I'm on there and you can follow me and stuff, and that'd be super, super cool. And if you don't use Letterboxd, you should get on it. It's actually a lot of fun. It makes watching movies a little bit more interesting, you know, because you actually have to, like, write out your thoughts and then look back at those thoughts and be like, oh, I remember that, you know. Me and my brother Gunnar, we watched the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I think it was on Prime with ads, a few months ago. And that movie stuck with me so much when I first watched it, and I gave it a 4.5 when I first saw it, but it stuck with me. And I thought about this thing nonstop for like an extra couple months. And I was like, yeah, I gotta own that. And so I did it. I did a lot of research leading up to this. This is something I'm so happy I own. But I did a lot of research because there's so many versions of this thing. I didn't want to get the 4K because I think the 4K, I think the problem was that it didn't have the Blu-ray in it. And I don't want that. Like, I don't get 4Ks unless it also has a Blu-ray disc in it, because, you know, like, as an example, my parents only have a Blu-ray player. And so if I wanted to watch something downstairs with them, with the family, I just really can't. So I just want to have that versatility. So I was like, all right, let's look around other options. And the other 4K was an import, and it was super expensive. I was like, I don't really want to spend a bunch of money. You know, I'm trying to save money for, like, the little cottage that me and my wife are renovating. But I want to own it, I really do. And so I found, ultimately led me to this version right here, because it includes the documentaries and the special features. It includes 2 documentaries that are made for this movie. And I've watched one of them already, and I even rated it on Letterboxd. This is great version of the movie. I highly recommend that. But I did rewatch the movie, and it moved up to S tier, and it's probably in my top 10 favorite movies of all time. It is just the coolest horror movie, and I know I'm like the biggest Thing fan. The Thing is, John Carpenter's The Thing is, like, forever has been my favorite. It really was my favorite movie for a while. It was for probably a few years, before I really got into watching a bunch of movies. I think I might like this more. I think I do. Currently, if you ask me right now, I would say I like this more. We'll see if that holds up. But that's how much I like this movie. I think it is insanely good. And every time I watch it, it puts me in this strange feeling that kind of reminds me of that feeling when I was a kid. And, like, I would look out and hear or see something really bad, or just know that the world is full of all sorts of craziness. I knew it was a huge world. It makes you feel like the world is huge, and it's terrifying, and it makes me feel nostalgic in a way. And that's a weird thing to say about this movie. No one's gonna trust me after saying I'm nostalgic for Texas Chainsaw. But yeah, really good movie. Next one up is one that I watched just about a week ago, a little less than a week ago, and that's Dazed and Confused. And this really sent me on a journey, because I have been hunting down Richard Linklater movies since watching this. Now, I've already been a huge fan of his. He was in my top 10 directors. Even before this, you know, I watched Waking Life, and my favorite movie from him that I don't own it yet. The day I own it, I'm gonna scream from the rooftops. It's Slacker. Slacker is my favorite movie of his so far. But I watched this, and it reminded me of what I love about him as a director, to the point where I've watched, like, a bunch of his other movies in the past week or so, just binging them. And I think he's a contender for favorite director. Let's just say that. I think he's a contender for favorite director. He barely misses. I just rewatched School of Rock today. Man, that movie's so good. It wasn't written by him, but he did direct it. It's just such a good time. And there's actually another movie in the stack that's kind of another Linklater movie. We'll get to that. But Dazed and Confused itself was just another one of those movies where it really puts you in a mood after watching it. It reminds you that we used to be free. You know, we used to be free at one point in our lives, and sometimes it feels like we're not as free as we once were. And that's what my takeaway from this movie was. Now y'all are gonna have to watch it if you haven't seen it. You have to watch it. And that next Richard Linklater movie I was talking about is this one. It's still sealed. I'm planning on watching this tonight with my wife. So if I can get this video out today as I'm recording it, I'm gonna try to do that. Y'all can see me rate this later on tonight, but yeah, I'm hyped. I think Paul Dano's in it, and Ethan Hawke. Ethan Hawke's arguably my favorite actor of all time. And it's another Richard Linklater movie that only had a DVD. And just the concept of a fast food based Richard Linklater movie just sounds so wildly interesting to me. So I was like, I gotta check that out. I'm sure I'm gonna love it, because I give pretty much all of his movies 4s. Like, they're just that good. There's only one that I didn't give a 4, and that's Boyhood, because I wasn't as into Boyhood. But this one, I think it's gonna be really good. Hopefully I'll watch that tonight, and hopefully I'll get this video out tonight. And that brings us to the final stack, the final 4 movies. And these are kind of in their own little selection because we just got them yesterday. We went to a place called Plan 9 Music. You can look them up. They're in like the Charlottesville area. I sold some stuff to them. Probably technically lost money, but I didn't really mind. I got some chunk of change for just some old, Blu-rays and DVDs I just didn't need. And we ended up picking up 4 movies from them. So let's start by showing off Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 2003. This is a movie I've been really nervous about. And I'll tell you why. The reason why this is a little bit nerve-wracking for me is because I adore the original so much that I'm really worried this is gonna mess with it in some way. Like, you ever get that feeling where like a X movie is so good that you're worried that whether it's a sequel or prequel or something, it's gonna kind of mess it up? I hear it's a remake. It's a remake of the original, so that's probably not going to bother me as bad. I also hear that it's way more like violent than the original, because the original movie's really like, it tricks you into thinking it's violent after it's done, but it's really not. It's really very tame in terms of the violence. Now it's terrifying. It's absolutely one of the scariest movies out there. But this one's gonna crank up the gort. We'll see how I feel about that. I'm interested. It's a movie from 2003. That's always a win. That's the year I was born, and there's very few movies from 2003 that are good. They do exist, and I've been trying to hunt them down and watch them, like Lost in Translation and Great Long Night Migration. I almost said Great Valley Adventure. Yeah, Land Before Time. Banger. If any of y'all have any experience with this, please warn me now, because I will get rid of this and never watch it if it's going to affect how much I like the original. I'll go ahead and show off this one. This is more of a Lily pick. For those of you who don't know, my wife's name is Kylee, and my nickname for her is Lily. I just call her Lily. I think it's really cute. Just like she's cute. And anyway, so yeah, this movie, again, bought it from Plan 9. I'm not a fan of this one. I would be totally honest. And my wife does watch my videos, so she'll probably give me crap for this later. She showed it to me. I was not a huge fan. It's way longer than the original animated version, and it just kind of exists. I'm not really into Disney stuff that much. Very few Disney things I'm passionate about besides nostalgic movies. Yeah, I don't love this one. But she does. This is her, I don't know, this might be her favorite Disney movie. But it's at least like her favorite live action remake. She likes this one the most, so I don't know. don't know. There it is. There it is. Another one that we found was The Greatest Showman. Now, this is a movie I did see when I was like maybe 11, 12 years old. I remember me and my brothers and my mom watched it as a family, just us. Probably we ate like pizza or something for dinner, and it was like dark and it was night outside, and we watched this. And I remember liking it. And I remember not thinking I would like it, because I was like, oh, I'm not really into musicals. It's a musical. I don't really think it's going to be my thing. But I kind of liked it. And later on, I realized, oh, I'd like to watch that again. I think that was really good. Because I think we rented it. I don't think we ever owned it. So I went looking, and I realized that the prices online for this thing are kind of high. I was like, dang, like, why is it expensive? It's hard to find this thing. Found it yesterday for $4. $4 at Plan 9. So huge shout out to them. And yeah, haven't rewatched it yet, but I'm very interested to rewatch it and see what I think. And finally, the last movie we're going to talk about today in my little stack, and the last movie we got from Plan 9 was Avatar. I was holding it upside down. Avatar. James Cameron's Avatar. It's a little sleeve looking thing, and kind of comes out of this, I think. Actually, I never even opened this. Ooh. And it's like a little booklet. Little booklet. It reminds me of the Back to the Future trilogy pack. If y'all have ever seen that, that's what this reminds me of. Kind of like a little book, kind of telling you about parts of the movie and stuff. And it's cute. I like that. I do like the original Avatar. I know it's kind of like the hip thing to hate on it a little bit. I've always been a fan. I've always thought it was pretty cool. And yeah, literally, we opened it now, but it was sealed for just like $6. And yeah, I don't know, maybe this is like really not that valuable to people nowadays, but I like it. I think it's a cool movie. And the biggest thing that mattered to me when I saw this was, does it have the 3 different versions that James Cameron inevitably always makes? And yes, it has all 3. It says it right here on the back, has the 3 different cuts, which is important because for some reason James Cameron, love him or hate him, which I do genuinely love him and think he's a great director, he never makes just watching his movies simple. He always has to like go in and mess with them and make multiple versions, which is really obnoxious. So you always want to like make sure you're checking like what has all the versions, you know. But yeah, we're kind of at the end of our little stack. So with all that being said, I'll see you all in the next video. Oh, what did you think of this video, by the way? You gotta tell me in the comments if you liked it. Maybe we'll do more. Kind of want to do some more like chill out, relaxing videos like this again. But yeah, see y'all next time. God bless.